The only way to make sure that you continue to grow spiritually is to have a daily practice. But a large percentage of people don't even realize that before you even step foot on the spiritual path, there's a very, very important prerequisite. Now, whether you've been on the path for some period of time now, or you're just starting out, if you don't have this one thing in place, then you're going to feel like your spiritual practice is a chore when it really doesn't have to be that way. So stay tuned to find out the 3 key reasons why this prerequisite is so critical, so important, along with a few tips on what you can do right now so that your spiritual practice is not only more effective, but also becomes a rewarding experience. Hey there, Karmic Warriors. I'm Lisa Engles, and welcome to my channel where I help spiritual seekers just like you to harness the ancient wisdom of yoga to live an extraordinary life. Now, the goal of this channel is super simple. It's just to make it easier than ever before to find happiness and fulfillment in your everyday life by harnessing and using what has already been handed down to us for millennia, as well as to dispel any popular myths that might be out there, especially in the new age spiritual world, which hold us back without our even knowing. So be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I put out videos just like this on a regular basis. One of the biggest issues that we face as modern spiritual practitioners is this excessive stimulation in our world. For many of us, our lives really don't allow for any downtime. Even if we think, oh, I have an easy life, still there's not a lot of downtime in most modern day spiritual practitioners' lives. And that ends up working against us, especially for those of us who want to live a more spiritually connected life. Because when we're overstimulated, it causes what in yoga teachings is called turnings in the mind and the emotion. And the Sanskrit word for this is called vrittis. And what happens is, if you want to imagine it like this stream, this is how it's explained in yoga tradition. If you imagine a stream or a river, and every so often in the river, there's these little whirlpools, there's these little eddies, right? That are whirlpools. We can think of them in our mind as these whirlpools of energy that get stuck. There are thoughts, there are emotions. And what happens is that when we're overstimulated, we get a lot of these little whirlpools of energy, of thoughts and emotions stuck in our mind. And what that does is it clouds our ability to see things accurately. It causes us to feel confused and often have a lack of discernment, and ultimately lead to a sense of frustration. I'm doing all of these spiritual practices, but they're not helping. So the prerequisite to a successful spiritual practice is having some rest and relaxation in our lives. I know it sounds so easy, but it's something that all of us can stand putting a little bit more into our lives, a little bit of rest and relaxation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss the 3 reasons why I'm going to make the case for why you need some rest and relaxation in your life, along with a few tips on how you can begin to implement some of these things in your life right now. And it will have an immediate impact on your spiritual practice. All right, so let's look at the first reason why you need rest and relaxation in your life. And that is because rest and relaxation helps to break the habit of doing something. In order for your spiritual practice to be effective, you have to master this skill of being in the present moment. And this is a message that you've heard so many other spiritual teachers tell you And spiritual masters tell you have to get out of doing and into being. Easy concept to get your head around, but it's not easy in practice. And so rest and relaxation is a prerequisite because it's nearly impossible for us to master the art of being when our entire day is spent doing. We've literally programmed ourselves to be doing all the time. And then what happens is we carry that programming into our spiritual practice. We carry it into our meditation. We say to ourselves, I'm going to do my meditation. And guess what, karmic warriors? Meditation isn't about doing anything. In fact, it's not something that you do. A lot of the meditation masters and yogic masters will tell you that meditation is what you are. It's a felt experience. That's sort of mind-blowing when you really get this, that meditation isn't even about being because it's already what you are. It's a felt experience. So we need to break this habit of doing and giving ourselves some R&R, some rest and recovery, is the exact answer. So what I suggest to my clients when they come to me, because everybody needs this, is that we give ourselves 1 to 2 hours a day of doing nothing. That means, and when I say doing nothing, it simply means not going to your to-do list and checking something off of your to-do list. So it really just means having a little bit of fun, not using your brain, not having to think about anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Go out for a walk, get outside, go meet a friend for a cup of coffee or just to have a chat. Watch a movie, have fun, watch a fun movie with loved ones, with family, with friends, right? So that's daily. You should be doing that daily. And then having at least 1 day a week of R&R where you're not doing anything. Again, it can be any of those things I just mentioned, getting outside, going to the beach, going to the trails for a walk, whatever your thing is, just doing nothing. And then it's also suggested, if you have the time and the capacity to do so, to take 3 to 4 weeks off a year. Traditionally, that meant going into retreat. Now, I know modern day life, if we're still in the workforce in that age, we can't really do that. Or if we're parents and we have young kids, we can't do that. But oftentimes, if you're someone who is in their 50s or 60s, you have a little bit more time and flexibility in your schedule. You can do that. So again, it's 2 hours a day, 1 day a week, and 3 to 4 weeks a year, or at bare minimum, just that 1 to 2 hours a day. If you can do that for yourself, that's a great starting point. So the second reason why rest and relaxation is a prerequisite for your spiritual practice, your spiritual path, is that it introduces this experience of spaciousness into our life, which allows us to see where we're holding tension in our body and our mind. Having that tension in our body and our mind is one of the most common things that keeps us from having a productive spiritual practice. So in spiritual practice, especially in non-dual practices like I teach, we like to separate. There's this practice of separating the contents of our experience from the ground of being, which holds all of those contents of experience. And it's really impossible to do that, to separate these two things when we're so overstimulated, when we're overoccupied, when we're preoccupied with thoughts about the future and the past, and we have all these emotional underpinnings happening with us. So this spaciousness that's created from rest and relaxation allows you to see where tension is being held in your body, when otherwise you would just become so used to that tension that you think it's normal. It becomes normalized and you don't even realize that it's there. But the thing is that this tension in your body and your mind is, like I said before, one of the most common reasons why people find it so hard to sit and to meditate for any period of time, maybe longer than just a few minutes. The tension in the body creates pain, it creates discomfort in sitting, and then of course pain and discomfort, what that will do will trigger the mind and the emotions. So you have this secondary effect of having monkey mind, what they call monkey mind, unable to like control the mind while you're doing your spiritual practice. So here's what I like to do or suggest that you do to address this issue. So it's really good to do this during your rest and relaxation time. So when you're out on your walk, or when you're just, giving yourself that 1 hour or 2 hours a day of that spaciousness, is to scan your body for any tension, tightness, or contractions that you might be holding on to. And then ask yourself, what's the source of this tension and this contraction in my body? Because our body will hold those physical as well as emotional and mental contractions. So what is the source of that? And then commit yourself to dealing with it so that you can let go of that tension. For example, what unfinished conversation might be causing emotional contraction? Maybe you have an aching back. So, hey, do you need to go get some body work done? Maybe you have a recurring thought or storyline that you can't let go of. Well, do you need to go see a therapist, a counselor, or a coach? These are some things to be looking at. Now, the third reason why you need to be having some rest and relaxation in your life on a regular basis is because it allows you to step back from the hustle of life and see things more clearly. As you begin to gain distance from all of the stimuli that's in your life, you're going to be able to see things as they are, not as you think they are. So a really, really great practice for this is what I call a spiritual decluttering practice. So here's what you do. At the end of your day, as you're getting into bed, but before you fall asleep, I want you to imagine throwing everything away from your day into an imaginary fire. So imagine this big, huge bonfire and throwing everything into that bonfire. And it's as if you're offering these things into the fire. I want you to offer your fears. I want you to offer your anxieties. I want you to offer your desires, everything that you long for. Offer it into the fire. Offer your hopes and your dreams into that fire. Offer your regrets and your reveries into that fire. Offer unfinished conversations or any storylines that are bothering you and that are recurring. Just imagine you can throw it all into the fire, offering it up. And what this is going to do is it's just it's a spiritual decluttering practice, and it allows you to let go of things so that you can have a deep and restful sleep, because that's the last thing, is that sleep is part of your rest and relaxation. If you're not getting 7 hours of sleep a night because of anxieties that you're holding on to, this spiritual decluttering practice can really, really serve you in doing this. All right, so just a little recap here. Rest and recovery is a prerequisite for stepping on the spiritual path, for having an effective spiritual practice. So if you're not already incorporating some rest and relaxation into your daily life, it's time to start doing that, because it's going to help you do three things. It's going to help you break the habit of always being in the doing mode. It's going to introduce the experience of spaciousness in your life so that you can identify where you're holding on to tension and contraction and tightness in your body and mind. And then finally, it's going to allow you to gain some perspective, because you're taking a step away from all of that stimuli. And the three things that you can begin to incorporate into your life to help you with this are Number one, taking 1 to 2 hours a day of doing nothing, just having fun, not checking things off your to-do list. Number two, asking yourself what's creating tension in your life and committing to eliminating it right now. And then finally, do that spiritual decluttering practice that I just went through with you. Now, one other thing that may help you is that I have a mini course called From Monkey Mind to Monk Mind Meditation Project, which is specifically designed to help seasoned and beginning meditators alike to calm the mind, to tap into inner peace, and to connect with the divine every time you sit on that meditation cushion. So I put the link all about that. You can get all the information to that in the description below. Be sure to check that one out. It's a really good one. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Please do leave your comments and questions below. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and namaste.